Hello everyone, it's Kari back again on the channel, and today I have something fun to share. I just recently made a discovery with this stencil, and this is the pick a card stencil that has the layers with it now. So you can do red and black or whatever colors you want. But I had a realization that this stencil will make an amazing border. So today I'm going to show you 3 different ways to use your stencils to make amazing borders. And I hope you enjoy this too, because it was really fun for me to test out. So I went ahead and taped down my A2 card panel. And now I am going to use this stencil, the first layer, with some red. I'm using a smaller stencil brush so I can just use the stencils around the outside of the card. And you can see here that it looks a little strange, but don't worry, we're going to add the second layer. And I don't know if you could tell, but there are etched lines in this stencil to help you line it up with those hearts and diamonds from the previous stencil. So you get a perfect lineup every time, no matter where it is on your card. So for that second layer, I'm going to use the black soot. And now look at that, we've got a really great border. I also did it vertical, but you can see that you will have to trim off a little bit. It doesn't quite fit as well as a horizontal border, but either one would work for a card. And now I'm going to show you a second way here to do a border with a stencil, and that's to use the A2 masking stencils. And this is one of my stencil sets I reach for time and again for the inside piece, but I'm going to use the negative piece here that gets cut out, and you can use this as a mask now. I'm using the second one here, and I'm going to tape that down to my card panel, and that's going to create a mask so that I don't get my stencil on the inside. And to line that up, I'm going to use this trick that I love to use, and that's by layering up this piece here. There's an etched line to go around your card, so you can line that up perfectly, and then you can tape that negative piece right in the center, and you get it perfectly centered every time. It's a really great trick. For this one, I'm going to use my very favorite Alice background pack. It comes with multiple stencils so you can build up beautiful layers, and I'm going to start with this diamond layer right here and just do a layer of red around the border here. And remember, we have that inside masked off, so you're going to get a perfect border look with this. Once I have that red done, you can see here, now I'm going to add the layer that has the hearts. And for this layer, I'm going to go in between those red diamonds, and I'm going to put some pink hearts now in all of those open diamonds. And I'm trying to get this lined up just perfectly here. I'm going to use some picked raspberry ink for this one. And look how cute that looks with those red diamonds. Now there is another diamond stencil that's a little bit smaller than the first one, so you could actually put layers inside the diamonds you've already done, or you can use it for the open diamond area and get a different look. Today I'm going to use it inside the diamonds we've already done, those red ones, and I'm going to put a smaller black diamond over the top. And you can see that I am going to have to adjust the stencil to get the bottom layer as well. And so I did that first layer. Now I'm going to move it down to that bottom layer of the diamonds and add those black diamonds in the middle of those. And look at what a neat look that gives you as well. So I'll remove that negative piece, and now we have another perfect border to build another card. How fun are these borders? So I've got another idea for you now with a different die cut, and that is the postage seal and shaker collection. And I just brought that in. I'll bring it in one more time to show you. But for this one, to do this one, we're not going to worry about the border. We're going to create our own border a little bit later. So first I'm going to take the Diamond Fade stencil, which is a different stencil. It's actually a separate stencil from the Alice background pack, just to be clear. Once I finish that around the outside edges, mostly I'm going to take this postage seal and shaker collection and cut out the largest postage frame, and I'm going to use the inside of that frame. That's going to create the border with the stencil. For this, I'm also going to use the A2 masking stencils, one that's just a little smaller than that die cut. It's actually the second one, the same one that we used for the last card. And I'm going to take a black pen and go around the outside of that mask, and that's going to create another little border look for us. We're going to do a little something more with this in just a minute. But for now, I'm just tracing around the outside of that mask. So this is what's going to create the inside for us, giving us the stenciled border around the outside. And take a look, here's the 3 borders with the stencil. I'm still thinking about this one here. I think we're going to do something more. So I cleaned off that mask from any ink that was on there before, and now I'm going to put it back on, and we're going to stencil on some black ink around the edges. That's going to create an even larger border, and it's going to create more of a separation with our design, so it's really pleasing to the eye. So just a little bit there, kind of a gray look, and there we go. And I think that looks really cool. So there's our 3 borders, and now I'm going to go ahead and create some cards with them. For this one, I'm going to use the Madness stencil and stamp. So I've already stamped it and then cut it out with the stencil, or I'm sorry, cut it out with the die. And I've also cut it out 3 additional times in red cardstock. And I'm going to build these up by layering them together with liquid adhesive. And that's going to create more of a dimensional look for our card. And it's also going to create a nice red border for our large mad sentiment. I think this is really, really fun. I recently just got this Madness die. I had the stamp set before, but I wanted to have the ability to pop it up if I wanted to. And so that's what this die allows you to do. It cuts that out so nice. I just stamped it in black, so you can see that here. All right, there we go. So I'll layer those up, and I'm going to use it for one of these cards. And you can see that the stamp is all one piece. So it says, "We're all mad here." And I think it's going to work really good on this one. And I'll use the Mad Hatter from the Tea Party collection. And I've actually stamped and colored quite a few of my favorite Alice images from various Alice sets. So I will link all of those below. I'm using Storybook Alice, Croquet, Tea Party, and Alice's Adventures today for all of these elements. And so what we're going to do is put them all together with the borders and stamp the sentiments. For this one, I am going to use the Unbirthday stamp set. And this stamp set comes with 2 different stamps. It says "A Very Merry Unbirthday to You" or "Happy Birthday to You." So you could use either one of those sentiments. Today I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment on our panel. So I'm using some VersaMark ink, which is a clear sticky ink. And I'm using the one that says "A Very Merry Unbirthday to You." It's a classic Alice sentiment. Today I decided to use some silver embossing powder, so I'm going to go ahead and once I get that stamped on there, I will sprinkle on some silver embossing powder and then heat set that with my heat tool. Just making sure I get all of it there, and if I happen to get extra flicks where I don't want them, I just use a dry paintbrush to whisk those away. And now we're ready to heat set that. I'm going to funnel this rest of the embossing powder back into my jar and heat set that with the tool, and it looks really cool. Look at that. It just glistens in the light. So pretty. So I'll add that to my card base with some liquid adhesive, and then I'll add my characters right to the top. I'm going to use some foam adhesive on some and then glue some down straight with some liquid adhesive. So Alice will be popped up and the rest of them will be just glued right down. It's so cute, those little flamingos from the Croquet set. I've used those flamingos on just regular cards too. They're really cute. So we'll pop up Alice like that. And I think I'll pop up this little mouse guy as well. The dormouse. Very good. All right, now there's a little heart in the Storybook Alice set, and it has a coordinating die. And I'm going to use that coordinating die just to die cut out some red cardstock. I'm not sure if I like it on that one. I might use it on a different card, but I've got those ready to go. Now I'll go ahead and stamp the sentiment that I'm going to use for this one, which is, "What dreadful nonsense we are talking." And I really like the font of this. This comes from the Storybook Alice stamp set, and it makes me think of the joke that he tried to get Alice to guess that really didn't have an answer. Do you remember that? "Why is the raven like a writing desk?" Or something like that. And I don't think there was really an answer, but if you have an answer, let me know in the comments below. Now I'll add that to a card base, and now we can put together our last card here. I'm going to stamp the "We're All Mad" here on this panel. And so I'm just going to line it up with my die cut mad and just make sure that that is where I want it to be. And that's perfect right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in my MISTI and stamp that down. And I'm just using some black ink for this. I'll stamp it a few times to get a nice good impression. And what I really want is to make sure the "We're All Here" part show up really well. And that looks great just like that. And I will add the die cut mad right over the top. So that'll pop up. And then we're going to add the Mad Hatter and this little character right there. I'll add the mad with some liquid adhesive as well. And just line it right up with that stamp. I love the dimension of this. I think that is so cool. It's going to be one of my new favorite things to make. For the entire panel, I'm going to pop it up with some foam adhesive, and that's going to give it even more dimension for this card. And then we'll pop it onto a card base, and that's going to finish off our last card. So I'm just going to check these over, make sure I like them. I might add a few more embellishments, but there's our "We're All Mad Here" card. Here's the "Dreadful Nonsense" and the Unbirthday card as well. As I was looking at that Unbirthday card, I felt like it needed still something. I didn't like the red hearts. It was too stark. So I'm going to bring in some pink pearls. These are half pearls. And I'm going to add a few of those to this panel, and that's going to finish off our card just like that. So I'll add a few of these here and there, and then attach them with liquid adhesive. And that's going to finish off that card nicely. Look how cute. So there's our 3 borders that we made using different techniques. We used a partial stencil on the pick-a-card stencil. We added a mask to the Unbirthday card, and we created our own mask panel over the top of the Mad Hatter card. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and I'll be back with even more inspiration, more cards, more paper crafting, and more fun really soon. I want to thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it, and I had a great time creating all of these. We'll see you next time. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.